Hey friends, my name is Megan and welcome to episode 90 of a Naughty Mess Knitting Podcast. I feel like I have weird shadows and light happening today, but it is really early in the morning on April 24th. But hi, for anyone who's new, ignore the weird lighting. My name is Megan and I live in the Pacific Northwest with my husband Mike, our daughter Theo, our dog Winter, and my mom Cindy. I am a knitter, mostly. Sometimes I crochet, though not lately. I cross stitch once a week. And and I will say I've had a perfect record this year of cross stitching on Sundays until last week. And that's because we were in Portland and we got back and then I had things to do, chores around the house. And I sort of forgot about it. And I did sit down and knit a little bit right before bed, but it was not for very long because I was very tired. So other than this past week, I might do another little session this week and also I might not. And I just am not really gonna finish my stocking until right before Christmas, and that is okay. Let's go through lots of knitting things. This episode, if you are new here, is going to feature finished objects, whips, what I'm wearing, which is also this week a finished object, books. Sometimes there's fiber chat though, not really this week. And then we'll have a fun announcement about our KAL. This week, I am wearing a newly finished object. I don't think this should be a surprise, but I did have quite a lot to do still in the body. And I will get up and show you in a second, but let me just tell you how I got the yarn. So this is the Flower Child by Wool and Pine Design. It is a circular yoke, lace top, kind of t-shirt. It is in fingering weight. I started this because the original yardage estimate was just under 2 skeins for a size 5, which is 46 inches, which is what I made. The recommended ease is 2 to 6 inches, but I talked to Selena and Abbye before test knitting. This size was still open, but the size above was not. And I said, hey, I could do 46. I do have a 46 to 47 inch bust. So I won't have the same ease. And they're like, that's fine. And I've tested for them a bunch of times. So they also know how my pictures look and what my body looks like. So, they were fine with that for this. And I will put that note into Ravelry. But they updated the yardage estimate about 3 weeks in. So it was going to be short, almost a whole skein per the estimate. And I was like, okay, that's a problem. But I had a bunch of options I picked from. And I will say, this was luck or fate or whatever. I picked the one option out of the 5 options I had. I didn't have any possibility of getting another skein from any of those other yarns. So without really hunting a D-stash or I don't even know, looking out really hard. This one, my friends have, because this is Denali stock in the colorway Fantasy from the Wool Gatherers box. And amongst us, we got 5 skeins total of this color. And then I was wrong. Katie got this color, but she got it in DK at the pop-up. So that was it. But I also knew there was a lot of this floating around since it's brand new, etc. Anywho, Sylvan, who is my yarny godmother and the best person out there if you need a skein of EKF, she had 2 of the skeins also of Fantasy. And she was like, well, I was going to make a tank top with it anyway. And I'd make one with 1.5 skeins. And I thought I would need a whole half skein, but surprise, I did not. So I probably used 30 grams total. I'm not exactly sure. I need to go back and measure it, but about 30 grams, maybe a little bit more, and not a whole half a skein. So hooray. That is good. Let us go through a stand-up view session. Okay. When I sit back down, I will go over the measurements. My hair is freshly washed, sorry. So let's just go over fit stuff first. Okay. It's so cute. Are you guys seeing this? Why is this so cute? I will say I am only wearing a bra today. You can see it. It is black. I had a little bit of a debate with myself on how I wanted to wear this, but honestly, a tank top, like a lot of my tank tops go like, it'd be 1 inch more coverage in my bust, and I don't feel like there's a ton of cleavage. Maybe just like where the flower is sitting on my chest or something, like doesn't feel super exposed. My Salty Air goes like down to here. Different story, right? So like, I don't know. I feel fine about it. What do you think? I don't know. I did make one significant mod to the I made one kind of large-ish mod, which was that I added sleeve length. So the original sleeve is literally just the cuff way up here. You know, I added 1 inch and a little bit of coverage, so like not a lot. It's not that different. But you know, I like a little more arm coverage. So this has got all twisted rib. Oh, look, winter hair. Twisted rib here, and this is like 1 inch, and at your hem it is like 1.5 inches. I don't know, you can see it on the side. So it's a little bit longer on the hem. It doesn't look significantly different, right? And then the neckline is a picot edge, and I actually don't have any t-shirts that have a picot edge, but I kind of love this. It's like, it just like, this already feels feminine, but this gives it like a little extra, like, I don't know, femininity, just like very cute. And let's see. Okay, let's get close here on one of these. Look how gorgeous that is. It turned out really nice. Like, it opened up super beautifully. And as I talked about this before, but if you haven't seen it, these are all twisted stitches. So, and they have twisted decreases, so that just like keeps this edge, it's not pulling apart because it's knit with a yarn over on each side. And same with the edging here, it just makes it look really crisp. These are all half double crochet bobbles. If you've done any like Andrea Mowry bobbles, I don't know if it's every project, but she does often put these in as her bobble choice. It just, I feel like they look really, they stick up without having to work really that much. And then you get some of this like nice little like leafy looking lace there. I love it. It's so cute. I think it's sitting really nicely. The only other mod I made is I did do like 3. So I decreased out 12 stitches throughout here. Just because my gauge was a tiny bit off, and it was, and the measurement just like, I mean, just very, very small amount. I am down to 46 inches here, which is the recommend, you know, which is the size of it. But up here, it's like just about 47 inches at the chest. My sleeve, we'll do this while I'm standing because you can then see all the things. My sleeve is 2 inches from the underarm, which feels like, in my mind, that sounds like a lot, but it's still a tiny sleeve. So 2 inches there. My bicep is about 15 inches, which on me it has like a little bit of negative ease or just like 0 ease because I have a big bicep. The total length is 21.5 inches, which for me is a very good, like that's generally going to sit pretty nicely to where I want it. My belly button is here. So I've got like a full, you know, pretty much the hem plus 1 inch there. And but the side, the underarm to the hem is about 11.5 inches. So that's how the sizing is working on this. Cute. Oh, let me show you the back. Cute. I'm excited. I'm gonna wear this to work, and I'll probably wear this like this without another tank top underneath of it, and we'll see how I feel about it, but I think that's what I'll do. So the one thing I didn't do, it's not a mod. They give instructions on how to get this to lay flat if it's not laying flat. For me, it feels like it's laying flat all the way, but when I do take it off, it sort of looks like it's like curling out. Is that you just do a running stitch right under the picot. So like, it's where it's still doubled. You can feel it in the fabric. And you just do it so it's flat, but it will cinch it in a little bit. I don't actually feel like I need it. I'm going to keep that like tip in my back pocket in case it ever feels like it's growing or sitting out at all. You could also do it with some elastic instead. But I don't feel like I need it. So I'm not going to do it because why do a step that's going to take me 5 minutes if I don't need to? So yeah, here is my flower child. This is a test knit. This is not out yet. I think it's out mid-May. I'm going to get notes and everything in hopefully today. They don't do formal feedback forms. They hope that people are telling them as they go. We're supposed to be updating on fit and other things throughout the test on Discord. And I've done that, and yeah, so I'm going to just give them yardages in Discord, and then they see if that's accurate. Oh, so yardage wise, I didn't weigh this. This is the only thing I didn't do yet. I did the measurements, I did the gauge, whatever. I didn't weigh it, but I know I used 2 full skeins, which they were each about 100 and probably just under 110 grams. And then for Sylvan's, I think there were 70 grams left. So I think I used 35 of hers. Anyway, so almost 2.5 skeins for a size 5. So that's, I will weigh it obviously for them, but I'm telling you now, though, you can always go on Ravelry like tomorrow or whenever I get my notes in and I'll put the actual, like I put the, what I weighed it as in there. Oh, and this is not a stat I share all the time, but this took me just about 27 days to make. So not bad for a finger and t-shirt with lace. And this lace was not like complicated, but doing the twisted stitches felt a lot slower to me. Like once you got to this part, and bobbles. I mean, bobbles, come on. I did them, I pushed through, but yeah. Okay, let's do some regular ratings. I don't even know if I should rate Denali sock because I have so much of it in my stash. And yes, obviously I'll use it again. I have not used it in a while though, and I did kind of forget, or maybe this batch was just extra like shiny. Just over some other things I've been using. Maybe because I have been knitting with more non-superwash that this felt like very shiny. Denali sock, if you haven't used it before, is just a 2-ply 80/20 superwash merino nylon mix. It's a great sock yarn. It's a great t-shirt yarn. It's a great shawl yarn. It's all the things. I am not a 2-ply hater. I know there are some people out there that just really hate using 2-ply. Don't use this if you don't like it. But like 2-4-ply, it doesn't really matter to me. So yeah. Obviously, I'm going to use Denali sock again. I actually was nervous about using it in the lace because I was worried that it wouldn't be as crisp as something that was like, they did their sample in a single ply. Obviously, that'd be very crispy, but not have as much longevity in actual wear, right? And then like a 4-ply. I did have some 4-ply I could use for this. Again, thankfully, I picked the one thing that I could actually get more yarn in. But pattern-wise, would I do this again? I don't know. This is my thing with all the lace tops. I don't know that I need another one. If something happened to this one, I would probably want to replace it because I think it is very cute. Hopefully it wears nicely and I like wearing it. But this is like, I feel like one of the cutest things I've made recently. Like it just feels so cute. And I would maybe make it as a gift for someone. Again, I don't know if non-knitters wear lace tops like this, but this does feel like something my best friend Sarah would wear in like light pink because that's the color she wears. So I don't know. I would do it for her. I would definitely do it in a smaller size too. But like, I guess I think of this sometimes like, would I make a sample in this or would I say no to a sample in this? And I would say yes to a sample. So that means I'd make it again. I do not have any fiber updates to share. I do not have any other finished objects to share. And I will say, like, I skeined up, like as in twisted up all of my skeins of my dried fiber that was just like finishing drying last week, and they all look very lovely. I need to take some pictures. I've been very bad at taking pictures of my finished spins to get them like logged finally fully in my little catalog thingy. So I'm going to do that maybe this weekend. And then I'll put them up here on the yarn shelf and then later in life, figure out what I want to do with them. Though I would maybe like to knit with them this summer. Maybe they'll be a next summer thing. First things up is my Checkerplate sweater. The sample for Jess, this Checkerplate sweater is a pattern by Lily Kate France. So I got this one extra skein from Jess when she was here teaching her class at Low Mercery. I have added it to the bottom here. You can kind of tell there's a little bit of a difference in skein color. I need to send Jess this picture because this is about where I joined. And now I'm into the ribbing. I did split. Oh, not that side. I'm looking at it. This side. So I don't think, like, it really depends on the light. Like, I don't think it's that significant of a difference, but I did notice it upstairs in like certain lighting. I need to take it outside in the sun because that'll be the real test. And maybe I'll take a picture out there. But regardless, I did finish the bottom. It was about what is this? 2-ish inches, maybe a little bit over 2 inches. You have to get to a certain place in the pattern. So I was getting a little nervous last night because I was weighing the yarn and I was like, these rounds took a lot of yarn and I need to do a ton of ribbing, and I knew I was going to be close anyway. So it's going to end a little bit early, but the pattern says like do it at 10 or 22 in the chart. And I was like, I'm at 5. So I had to do 5 more rounds. It ended up being the right measurement actually, because you have to get to 12 inches and I was just under, but I was going to end early. Whatever. It's fine. So I started the ribbing last night and it's going fine. It's going swimmingly. And I think the back is first and you do like 3.5 inches and then the front you do 2.5. I'm going to do another like inch maybe. And then I'm going to, and I probably already have an inch. I'm going to, put this on 2 sets of needles then and pull from the inside and do the front. And I will do the front because if I get like 2 full inches on the back, I'll do the front to 2 inches, see about where I am, and then, you know, like just keep going so that the back is still longer, but maybe not the full, you know, maybe not a full inch longer, and also maybe not to the full length. We'll see. I will use every last inch of this yarn if I can, if I need to. So there's where we are. I've not done significant progress since, but the whole sweater is done otherwise. And I was gone this weekend and I didn't want to take a full sweater with me as a project. So yeah, here we are, done. See, like, I think you can see it a little bit in some of this lighting, but like it could just be the shadow of the bottom. I don't know. I shall let Jess decide. And okay, so I love this sweater so much. Okay, as a reminder, I am making a size 3, which is a 46.5 inch circumference. I will try this on. I have not done it yet because I'm really just going to finish the sweater because I'm making it 2 pattern measurements for Jess per her request, no modifications, and then I'll try it on to see what mods I would want to make for myself. I do want to make this again. I'm already telling you that before we go through. I've like said this every time because I just love it so much. I'm using 4.5 millimeter needles for the body. I used 3.75 for the cuffs and the collar. I used the collar, I think for the collar also. I am using 4.5 millimeter needles for the body. Just with, I am doing a semi combination rib. You can do combination rib flat. It is kind of annoying, but you do use a little bit less yarn because of the way you're wrapping your purl stitches. And to me, it still does keep it a little bit more consistent on both sides. And so I just decided to do that. And I did not go down to needle size, which is what she recommends because she doesn't want it to pull out. And if you look at her pictures, the ribbing also looks just like it does in the neckline. It looks quite, like it doesn't look like it was blocked out. You could do this either way. So if you are familiar with like the Yoon sweater, that's got a really high slit and it's got a ton of ribbing, like 3 or 5 inches or something. I think it's like 5 inches of ribbing down the body on both sides. And it's kind of like they're flaps. Like this is not something I would probably make for myself, even though I do think they're very cute, but I don't have the shape for that because my hips are so wide. But if you do it and you block it out, they look hilarious before they're done because they look just like so scrunched on the rib. And then you block it out, but you really like the ribbing becomes large. In this case, I think she doesn't want you to block out the ribbing because of the look and stuff of it, which is fine. And then I am using obviously Witchfire Fibers because this is a sample for Witchfire Fibers. And this is her natural DK, which is 231 yards. It's organic, non-superwash merino. And it is 231 yards for 100 grams. And it is in the color Coven Sisters. It's so scrummy. I think also I want to evaluate how I feel about me actually in this color without like other colors near me. Like, do I like it? I don't know that I'll make an exact one like this, but like I'm kind of tempted. Okay, so there's that. Let's go on to Skipping book club cardigan this week because I did not take it with me, and I really didn't pick it up. I don't think I added anything, actually. No. Which is fine. I will not main project that this week, but I'll definitely make that like maybe my second main project. I plan to finish this sample this weekend. Like before the weekend is over, I want this to be done. I don't remember if I have to wash for her or not before I send it out. We'll see. But that will be done quickly. And so I think I would like to spend a significant amount of time on my book club cardigan. I'd like to get it joined in the rounds, like, I mean, this week would be great, but like soon, if not. I have not recast on the crosshatch hacked. You guys, one day it'll happen. I did not cast on my sea glass sweater, just as a spoiler alert when we talk through whips. I did not cast it on yet, but I am, because I didn't want to bring it with me to Portland. And I decided to cast on my mom's sweater instead first. Once the checker plate is off my needles, I may cast on the sea glass. I am also going to join the Doppio KAL, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I'm going to have that also on my needles, but Doppios are a quick knit, so I'm not really worried about it. Okay, let's talk about the thing that got the most attention this week, which was my coloring book. I feel like I have so much yarn attached to this. I do. I have 4 balls of yarn. But I was here last week. I had not finished my Raglan. I hadn't finished my first ball of yarn, which it did take me more than 1 ball of yarn to get through the Raglan. Okay. I don't know if that's normal in a worsted weight. I don't know that I've got any worsted weight Raglan sweaters. So this is the first. And then I was in the car and I knit a ton. I just knit a lot on this. So you can now see my Yukon spring stripes here. I love it. They're not, it's not the most obvious of striping, but I just think it's so fun. They look like little tiny like flecked stripes. I do feel like my sleeve is a lot darker, just like where it is on the yarn right now. And maybe it's just more yellow in real life. I'm okay with it. I don't really care. I don't want to redo it. I am still in the first ball of the Yukon spring, so I started pulling inside outside. I just finished the last stripe here. So now I have 4 in the body and 3 on the sleeve, and I tried it on last night. And that's where I stopped then. I'm going to do something crazy because I just feel a little undecided about how much yarn I have, A, and B, how like the lengths I want everything to be. This is too short. So this, how it is like 9 inches, I think, and it is so short feeling. I don't even think, so I ended at the end of the 4th stripe, and then I think it's like 2 inches of ribbing. Obviously 11 inches usually feels okay for me, but like where this is sitting, I just feel like on me, I need 3 plus inches still. So I could do a full of the mint. I could do a full other stripe and then the ribbing in mint, or the ribbing in Yukon spring, or do 2 more stripes, which is like 2 full inches, and then do a normal amount of ribbing, because I think this is like 2 inches of ribbing at the bottom, and I could just do 1. I have not decided. And the nice thing about this pattern is this like feels like there's tons of room for improvisation. But I think because I want to know like how it's really pulling, etc., I want to do the first, so I did skein up the last ball of Yukon spring also, and I will use more than 1 ball regardless, because I added the extra stripes. So I'm gonna do okay, and the cropped version would be like done where it is right now, and I was like, absolutely not. Like I can't wear this with anything. It just feels really short. So I am going to do the sleeve and get it to at least this same place. I'm going to weigh the yarn and see how much I have and try to make some educated decisions on if I make the sleeves a little bit shorter. And right now the sleeve goes to like here. So I definitely need to be a little bit longer because like this is an awkward place. So I would do the 4th stripe. And then I'll see just like how much yarn I have, mostly the mint, to decide if I can like, how much I can add. Do I need to do the stripe in a shorter thing? Do I need to do hem in the Yukon Spring. I could do the cuffs in Yukon Spring too. Like, I could just make it match, but let's see. I don't know. I don't know where I'm feeling about it. Okay, one mod I'm going to say now, so I remember to also put it in Ravelry, is that I modded the neckline, or the Raglan shaping. So, not by a lot, but I was getting towards the end of the Raglan shaping, and I did not try it on, but I, like, was measuring it, and I was like, this feels rather long. I'm making a size 4, and 47 inches is the circumference. This is supposed to have 5 to 10 inches of positive ease. And when you look at it on people, that gives like the Raglan, having the Raglan oversized like longer makes sense. I do not want that because I'm having 0 ease or 1 inch of ease. I want this to fit me nicely. Like I'm more likely to wear Raglan that actually just fits, not is super big. Or like just a couple inches big. I don't know. I also am running out of yarn for this. So this is the decision I've made. So what I did was I did 2 less full Raglan increases. So I'm missing 4 rows in the Raglan, because increase plain row, increase plain row, and then I did the 2 rapid increase rows at the end, and then I cast on the same amount of stitches I was supposed to. So overall this is a little bit smaller, smaller by 4 stitches total. For the sleeve, I was going to maybe pick up extra stitches to make up for that, but I tried it on and it was fine. And I didn't realize also, I wasn't really thinking about it, but there is this underarm detail that goes under the sleeve too, that is like a twisted rib just over like, it's over like 7 stitches, but it's, you know, like 3 twisted knit stitches. And then the same goes, it carries up your arm too. Which I think blocking wise will give me like a little extra space. It's like a air gusset. But yeah, so there's where we are. Got a ton of progress. I don't know that I'm going to finish it this week, but I need to make some decisions. So that'll either pause me or I will want to know. So I will knit faster. Unclear. Unclear what will happen there. I do have other exciting cast-ons, and you know, like getting to the 60 to 70% done range is either where I feel excited to push through and get the finished thing, which is why tests are so great because I generally feel that, or I pause and start working on other things, and then everything gets to that amount, and then I feel like I just need a finished object, and then I push a bunch of stuff. So I mean, at least I know myself, right? Okay, another thing that's been on the needles and you have not seen in a while is my Pearl Soho baby blanket. This super easy baby blanket that is a free pattern from Pearl Soho, and they always have like all their patterns come with either kits or like tell you what yarn to use. That's from their lines of yarn. They do have older patterns that like those yarns don't exist anymore, and they do a really good job usually of like updating to what yarn you could use, like what they currently have in stock, or you know, are still milling or whatever that you could use. Anyway, this is the super easy baby blanket in morning. I'm going to show you this side even though this is the wrong side, just because this is where my marker was. This is the last time I showed it to you. I really did almost, I added probably like a little bit, like maybe to here over the last couple of weeks, and then I did all of this in the last week. So that's good. I just also need to get this done in the next month or so, but I brought this with me to Portland because this is such an easy thing. Even though I do feel like I have to look at it a little bit, which I'll talk about again in a second, I don't have to think while I'm doing it. So just like sitting and chatting with my friends when we were visiting, this was a good project to have. I actually did a lot of this in the car though, because I got to a point in on the way down, I split for sleeves before we left. No, on the way down, I was working on the Raglan, and I got to where I had to make that decision of, do I want to skip the 2 or what I want to do? And like, I went to measure and stuff, and I can't do that in the car. So I started working on this for like the last hour and a half. And also Mike did drive the whole way. I played Passenger Princess the whole way, and it was so great there and back. And that's not normally his thing. He doesn't love to drive, but he does love his car a lot. And it does like it does like lane checks and a smart, responsive cruise control. And so he was like, it's fine, I don't mind it. So here we are working on this. This is in the yarn called Morning from Pearl Soho. It is 75% organic cotton, I think, and 25% yak. It's like 80-20 or 75-25. I don't have this in my note, what that composition is. And the yarn is way over there. So I'm just going to tell you that. You can look it up if you want. It is a like 12 ply yarn that, I've said this before, is kind of loosely plied. This happens obviously with a 12 ply yarn. What are you going to do? You can't have it super tightly plied. And that happens with cotton yarns typically. Like this is not an uncommon thing for cotton yarns. What I will say is I did two things to make my life easier, because I said I didn't like it when I first was using it, and that was like in the very beginning part. And I was like, okay, I got to do a whole blanket. So how am I going to get on board with this yarn? Here's what I did. Number one is I got this guy out, which, have you seen these, like, I don't know, what are these things called? Like, they're like sweatshirt or like, tie things where you can put ties in and then you tighten at the bag. I don't know what they're called, toggles, something. Anyway, they have springs in them, and so they can sit on my cord. And what I do is I push it up way like this when I go to knit a row, because the thing that was probably bugging me the most, even over splittiness, is that this yarn is kind of heavy. So even when I didn't have a lot of blanket, it felt heavy. And the heaviness meant every row I was like pulling my stitches up, and then I was fighting them to stay there. And so I just felt like I was doing this like a ton while I'm knitting, and like having to readjust a lot. Well, this, I mean, obviously I thought about it for a second. I was like, oh, I have a bunch of these. And if you just cinch it on there, then it can't go anywhere, and it just stays up, and I can just zoom through a row really fast. So great. The second thing is that I just, you know, decided to knit this while I'm looking at it. I've gotten better at catching the yarns and noticing when I have like just a couple strands that are missing. I don't have any now in here. Like, I go through every couple of rows too and just look down and make sure I didn't miss any. I don't do it every row because that's annoying, and it's easier to see them once they're in the fabric, even though obviously it's easier to catch them while the one on your needle that's missing. I think in the last, like in this whole white section, there's only been one. So not that the splittiness is getting better, but I'm better at managing the splittiness. And I don't knit with cotton very often. So also that's like an opinion I have, being a wool knitter, and knitting with cotton is different. So I will say it's going better. It's still not something like, I would probably not pick morning yarn for all of my projects forever. It is very soft and it has a cool touch, but it's not, it's much softer than just like a straight cotton, like much softer. So overall, I feel significantly more neutral, which is fine. You can be neutral about your yarns. I'm excited to see the colors. Also, getting more colors on here is good. And the grays are not the most exciting part to start with, though I'm glad I'm not ending with them. So after this, I think it's like yellow and then the orangey color and then 2 greens. And so I plan to finish a color and some per week, just so I can get this done in May. That's my plan. So going swimmingly, I will move the marker up and we'll see where I get next week. I have 2 new cast-ons then. Okay, the first one is in this cutie little bag I have, and it's got, and I'll show you these, the other yarns in there. So this is the 3 other yarns that are all caked up for my mom's summer sorrel. And I cast this on Sunday, and then I did nothing else for it. I didn't do a single stitch after Sunday. So I need to, and it was pretty late on Sunday when I cast it on, and I was pretty tired. This is actually the only thing I did. It's like the only thing I knit on while, like when I got home after doing some chores after the baby was down. So I haven't even done like any part of the chart, but actually, this is a good place to show you because there's nothing else on the needle right now. But I'm making the Summer Sorrel, which is a pattern by Abbye and Selena at Wool and Pine Designs. I'm going to have 3, well, this is done now. I'm going to have 2 more of their knits on my needles, very short order. I am making a size 8, which is 51 inches. Recommended ease is 2 to 6 inches. This is also a circular yoke. So my mom and I had a discussion that we thought 51 would be better, even though that's less ease than the recommended. Not by a ton. Well, it's maybe about 0 ease for her. But I think that fits better. She's not really shaped like me exactly, but you know, it'll I think it'll still be better pick for her. And this is, I'm using 3.75 millimeter needles. And the yarn is all those yarns I showed you. They're all Hooker's Corner Squish Sock. And the colors are, this is Koi. The yellow is Here Comes the Sun. The greeny blue, the more teal, less blue, is Tubular. And then the dark blue is, or dark blue, the medium blue is Lucy in the Sky. My mom is a big Beatles fan, so I figured those, when I got them originally, I thought I was gonna make something for her. Okay, this yarn is so fun. It is, I think this is a 100% superwash merino. Yeah, and it's $4.38 for 100 grams. Okay, so that's all the details for it. And then you can see here, I do have my first dip stitches, but you can see they're different lengths. It's gonna stay focused. It's not gonna stay focused. There we go. You can see they're different lengths. They're small over here and they're like long over here. They're actually not going to be either of these sizes. They're going to be like maybe this middle size, generally speaking. But you do short rows throughout. Not a significant part of the back. Like it's just like right on your back neck. And this is an I-cord cast on also. So you can kind of see here is my I-cord cast on. It looks really nice and beautiful. And then I actually did not cast off. I did 2 extra rows because I think you just are supposed to absorb your last 2 I-cord stitches into your pattern, but that leaves you like a weird dip and I don't like that. So I just took the last 2 I-cord stitches. I decided I only needed 2, not 3, even though it's a 3-stitch I-cord. And then I have this tail here and I will weave those in and then weave this through. And just the same way I would do any kind of like cast off for an I-cord, just like slightly different because they're not, I'm not doing it with a live yarn. Anywho, then you move your BOR because you want them to be like, you want to have all the same number of, dip stitches. And since like, so you start at the end of your short rows. So you do regular short rows. Your last row of short rows is the dip stitches. And then you go into the pattern and you move your BOR. So that's where I am right now. And I've done like 2 rows in the chart, which is just plain knitting. And then it's going to be dip stitches, plain knitting, dip stitches, plain knitting. And there's a lot, like, I mean, I didn't count the number of dip stitches yet because I don't want to make myself sad, but there's a lot. And dip stitches are fine. They're just not that fun for me because I feel like I have a hard time really, hopefully I'll just feel more confident. And I felt fine when I did my Sorrel sample. It's just like starting them again. Like I feel not confident on how much to pull because you don't want that row to be too loose, but you also don't want the dip stitches to be too tight. So it's a little bit of like just negotiating like how comfortable you feel in the yarn. And Abbye and Selena do have some tips for this. So it's not like I can't figure it out. I can. But these rows right now are pretty fine because there's very few purl stitches. And then we're going to have a lot of purl stitches because that's what like grows in between your dip columns. And then you just turn this inside out and you work in stockinette, but it's the reverse side. So it is purls out. So yeah, I did make some notes on the yarn. I need like 1,300 yards for her size, probably just under because it has some overage. So I'm going to need to use like 75% of each of the skeins ish. So that might just determine for me when I switch colors, although I could use like full up on 1 or 2 of them and make up the difference, right? So I just don't want to like get to the end and like run out of the blue. That would suck. I'm sure I have something in stash that could match or, you know, like be a 3rd color, but that would be like weird, or a 5th color, but that would be like weird at the end. So yeah, I will not probably use 100% of this skein because you don't want to change. I don't want to be forced to change like right at the bust, but I will, yeah, sort of just see where I am and I can pull the yellow into the last dip or 2 if I need to. Okay. That's just planning. That's where I am on that. I don't know that I will get through that one particularly quickly. It will be nice to get the dips out of the way. So I also don't want to linger on them too long. So we'll see. The last actual cast on this week, as I said I was going to do my socks. If you're on my Discord channel, you saw this little sneak peek. I didn't add any rows last night. Is like after I posted that picture. But that was my socks. So these are my May socks. So I am ahead of schedule again. Hooray. I'm almost at, like, this one is done, the cuff, and this one is like 4 rows from doing, probably not even, probably like 3 rows from being done the cuff. So then I have, you saw this last week, but this is the contrast color. What I would like to have done by next week for this is just like most of the foot, and that's all I'm going to do. So then I just get to knit in a nice little tube for a bit. So that's the goal, is just to get some more sock done. I don't need to be done them. I don't need to be like pushing crazy through, but I do want to make some progress each week. Okay. That's the last of the cast-ons. The next thing I want to show you is for planning. So for EKF, Doppio planning, as a reminder, we talked about this. I got at La Mercerie all together when, during the EKF pop-up. So I got some Biche Bouche, dark blue black, and light pink violet. And this is the Petite Lamb's Wool, which is a woolen spun, 2-ply. Yeah, 2-ply woolen spun fingering weight, like light fingering weight. And this is Story Weave on Surrey from EKF. And so together, this is what my plan was. I say was. This is what my plan still is. And I did a really baby swatch also because I've done 3 Doppios at this point. I absolutely am not going to do a real swatch, but I just want to make sure I liked the colors together before I really commit. And so this is what it looks like. I kind of love it. It's so fun. The Story Weaves gives it like this still cool gray-y purple component, and then those pretty significantly different pink and blue, I think, just like complement both sides of it and like look so nice. But I'm really excited. I have not determined what size I'm going to do yet. I might measure this just to see like how it is going. I could go up. I could bump up a size if I need to because this is such a light fingering. I think it's looking okay. I'm undetermined. I could do a size 4 or 5. I did a 4 last time for my blue one. I like how that fits. It is much more snug than like intended. I mean, not more snug. Yeah, it's tighter. It's like 0 ease, negative ease. I also think I was a little off gauge for that one. So I'm going to just think about it until Saturday. But I do want to cast on kind of with everybody or whatever. I will probably try to cast on Saturday. And I don't know how quickly I'll make it. Doppios are sort of like a blackout zone. You're just like, oh, I just knit so much on this and I didn't even realize because it was so fun. So yeah, I love it. Okay, that's all for whips and things. Okay, so on books this week, I really only read 3 books. Again, I was gone, so not a lot of reading happening. And I also, I'll tell you this part now. The weekend was really nice to see my friend and hang out with her and see her be a mom and get more time with her baby, who she's very cute. She's like 10 months old and just adorable. Obviously, plus her husband, who's great. I mean, I've been friends with them for a significant portion of my adult life. And I'm very glad they live closer again. They've had to move for work and stuff because she is a scientist. So she had to do some fellowships after she finished her PhD. And just, yeah, getting to hang out. She's met Theo, but having more time with her And they have some very cute little doggies who I've also known for their whole lives, and kitties. And so it was very fun. It was Theo's first time ever meeting a cat. That was pretty hilarious. She does not know how to handle herself around cats because she just wants, she's brimming with love for animals. She did learn that she has to let the cats come to her. She was not super good at it, but we were working on it all weekend. She did not chase them or anything, but she did like try to walk after them, which obviously makes cats be like, heck no, small child. But they are very social cats, so we didn't scar them too badly. Anyway, sleeping was significantly more difficult than we thought it would be. And it was Theo's first time to sleep outside of the house, and she did not do great. Which is fine. But that ended up being that nobody got a lot of sleep. And normally I would at least like read in bed a little bit. Like I brought headphones and stuff with me, but I could not do that because she was there in the bed, which I don't ever recommend doing. To each their own. Everybody parents a different way. We are not co-sleepers. It was very difficult. It was our first time ever doing it with her, and she's a toddler, and it was fine. She ended up going to sleep, but it took her forever. And so I had, you know, less reading time than I wish. I didn't want to read on my phone because I just didn't want the light in the bed. So what I did end up reading is I think I talked about this for a second, but I was reading the Ali Hazelwood Deep End book. I'm reading that. I read that with my eyeballs. And I've been reading some of these. I mean, like every other week I've been getting done something with my eyes, and that's really crazy. I'm reading another thing with my eyes right now, and I'm very close to being done with it. So that's good. That's fun. It does not mean I'm knitting less, but I am knitting a little slower because I tend to knit and read. So like I've been reading while working on my coloring book Raglan at home this week because it's just stockinette, so I can do that. But I do both of those things slower then. I read a little slower, I knit a little slower. But I read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I liked this one. I still find some of her things problematic. There were less problematic things for me in this one, because I thought that the male character was not portrayed as just perfect the whole time. He's got some issues. He's got some communication issues. And the main character was, I feel like, rightfully dealing with some trauma. She had like sustained an injury, and she had some trauma around dealing with that, and getting back into diving. And she's a diver and he's a swimmer, and they're in their last year, or I think she's a junior, but like over 21, both of them full grown adults, but also, you know, I talked to a friend about this and she said she didn't really love it. And I was like, okay, I get it. But also I think I've read a lot of college romance in the last year. And like, for me, this felt less, I liked that it wasn't even a slow burn because it's pretty smutty. There's a lot of smut that happens throughout this, but because I felt like they didn't just get together and then spend all of their time together, which I think is kind of what happens in college, but this piece of them being D1 athletes and having that take up a significant amount of their time was a forefront, like in the forefront of this. And also both of them like being good students, etc., etc. I liked that was not just like, we abandon all responsibilities and are now in love, which is what I feel like happens in some other books, especially when it's like the hockey players. And I was like, I don't feel like they'd have that time. I lived with student athletes. I was a student athlete, and like, I don't know, we didn't have that much time to do anything. But anyway, so I enjoyed it. I also really liked the ending, the whole ending, even the conflict, because I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop with this one friend the whole time, and then I feel like she handled it well. Okay, that's all. I read Scandalized by Ivy Owens. Ivy Owens is a pen name for the Lauren half of Christina Lauren. So if you have watched my podcast and you watch any of the book things, I've read a lot of pretty much everything Christina Lauren has written. I need to go back for some of the older series. I read some of them a long time ago. And then, but there's like maybe one complete series like I didn't read from them. Anyway, they're a duo, and the Lauren half has gone off and done her own book, and this one is called, but under the pen name Ivy Owens. Okay, so this book is so good. I don't want to give away too much, but the back of the cover tells you that this is like a one-night stand that becomes more, and the scandalized part is like an entirely other thing. But basically, she is a journalist who they get stuck on a flight that cancels, and they're in Seattle, and they are trying to get to LA from London, which also London to Seattle to LA is crazy. I don't know that that's like a flight that you would take normally, because that feels like further. Anyway, they get stuck. She sees a guy, and she realizes it's her childhood best friend's older brother, who she obviously had a crush on, because that happens to everybody. But they moved away when they were like 12 or something, so she hasn't seen him in a decade, more than a decade. And they have a one-night stand, and then much else ensues. I don't even want to tell you the rest, but like, she finds out that he was not necessarily completely honest with who he was. I mean, he was that person, but like who he is now in the world. And she is working on a story that is pretty traumatic, and has a lot of consequences for characters in the book. So I don't want to tell you more than that, because I just think this is an absolutely, if you like a romance, you like a little bit of smut, there's definitely smut in it, but I mean, let's say this is not any more smutty than most of the Christina Lauren books, which tend to have something around 3 to 5 scenes, 1 to 2 relatively explicit, and the others like just kind of like a lead up to, and then just, there was, like the telling. So if you're okay with that amount of smut, go read this. It was so good. I couldn't put it down. I really liked it. Okay. Also a non-white guy male main character. So I was all for it. He's Korean. So I'm definitely all for that. Okay. And then I finished reading, and you guys, I think this book has been 7 months at 6 months, at least 6 months in progress. So I finished reading The Ashes and the Star-Crossed King. This is the Crowns of Nyaxia #2. This is the end of this duology. I think that there are more in the universe. I've read, it's a duology. There's a novella also that like are in this same character subset that happened between 1 and 2. Or between 1 and 2, I think. Or like during 1 leading into 2. Okay, so this is about Rain and Oriah, who the first book is very like vampire, Hunger Games, lots of bad stuff politically. Okay. And it's super entertaining. And I read that with my eyeballs over the fall, and I went through it super fast. I picked up this one, and I just I read the first 10 to 15%, and then I just could not get through it. I picked it up again later on, maybe like a month and a half, 2 months. It was probably 2 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. And I read to 30 to 40%. And then I still was it was dragging. And there's stuff that happens for sure, but it just was dragging on. And then I finally just bit the bullet and got this as an audiobook, and finished it in 2 days. So, and the end was entertaining, and I liked the outcome for them. And there's still other stuff that's going on in the world, and whatever. It's just, I think there was a little bit of mopiness and just the angst that was happening in the beginning between the two of them. I was like, get over it. Nobody's here for your angst. This is not what we're here for. We're here for your sass and your relationship. And so, and making this winning this battle, right? That's what we're here for, not for you guys to like infight. I didn't love that. So I would say overall it was like fine. I thought the duology was good as a whole, but mostly because the first one was so good and the end of this one was good. So if you have it on audiobook, I would suggest go for it because you probably go a lot faster. Okay, and now I am 75% done my tandem read. So I should be done with that next week, hopefully. Not that anything's stopping me, but I may take a little bit of a break because I want to, as I get into book 7, which is the last book of Throne of Glass, I want to cast on this sweater because this sweater is called, this yarn color is called Take It Off, which if you've read the books before, that is a significant thing that happens in the beginning of 7. And I would love to at least have this cast on during that book. This is from Witchfire Fibers, by the way, from the Throne of Glass. This is her Mask Made Me Cry collection, and this was a very, very good, both just interpretation of that moment and like quote. I mean, this is, ugh. Okay, definitely makes me want to cry. So I want to knit that. I think I'm gonna do the Coffee Date sweater from Samantha Guerin. That's like the newish one. Undetermined. I might swatch with it just to see how I feel. Also, I forgot to mention this for all of the weeks I've been knitting, the two weeks I've been knitting the coloring book Raglan, but the Aimee Sher is doing a knit along right now. Any of their patterns count. It doesn't have to be yarn from their store. I think it's just any patterns. So I think if you post on Instagram and maybe one other, maybe there's a Discord, I don't know, look up the details, but if you post in certain places, then you can also be entered for some giveaway stuff. I think the first drawing is in like a week or a week and a half. I don't know if I'll be done, but I will at least post something and get that like in for the KAL thing, just because that's fun. Also, that was just like my push to get that one done, get that on the needles a little faster. I'm glad I had that one or something like it because it was a great thing to knit in the car. It was wonderful. I did so much. Okay, also for the Doppio KAL, if you don't know the things for this and if you're not on Instagram, EKF does have their own Discord, and the Discord is where it's really being hosted. You can post pictures on Instagram and tag them EKF Doppio knit along or something like that, but the only way you can win, and they're gonna have 3 gift certificates I think in total, the only way you can win is you have to submit a picture in the Discord. So just FYI, and I think like a finished object in the Discord. It goes all the way till June. Obviously, you know, I'm going to finish my Doppio significantly faster than that, but I'm not going to push myself to finish the Doppio also significantly faster than that. I will give it a couple of weeks to grow. But like, it's the most fun thing to knit, so don't hold me to it. Okay, just so you know those knit along things. Now let's talk about our knit along. Okay, so fun. Okay, so I do have some good news about our knit along. We have officially decided some things together. I will put together a Instagram post hopefully tomorrow, if not on like over the weekend. And Emily's out of town, so I also don't want to like put pressure on her to get anything out right now. But we are set on some things. So, as I said a couple of weeks ago, Ariel, Emily, and I are going to co-host this year our pre-flock or flock knit along. So last year I did Emily Curtis patterns, and she didn't co-host or anything because she was doing a lot of stuff in her life at that moment. But she did join the Discord and she was there for some stuff. So this time we are actually we'll mostly be hosting on Discord. If you guys don't know, I know some of you are not on all the platforms, and that's obviously totally fine. But there are a lot of people that have been like moving off of Instagram, so I wanted to make it in a more accessible, free place for everybody. And Discord is really easy. I already have my Discord set up, so that's what we'll use. I will put a channel that is specifically for this. So if you have not joined the Discord yet, please join. If you don't know what it is, I will put the link below. It is an app that you can have on any of your mobile devices. You can also not have the app and just access it online. It's free to set up a profile. It's free forever to use. It's free for video calls. Like, it's a really great platform. And if you've ever used like Slack or anything, it's set up very similarly. So that's where we will be hosting it. So we will host it on the Naughty Mess Discord, just so that we don't have to have a one-use Discord channel to mod and stuff. And then that will die after this. I figured it would be easier just to use one of ours. Since I use mine most actively and I'm happy to mod it, that is what we're going to do. So if you're not on my Discord yet, you may want to join if you want to join our knit along. That is where I'll be posting things like the Google form, which is what we'll use for prizes. Yes, we will have prizes. I'm not entirely sure what they are yet. I will share that in the next few weeks as we get into the make along, knit along. But it will be Tori is going to donate a couple of patterns for a giveaway for one of the winners. I think Emily will donate some either yarn or patterns, and Ariel said either hand-dyed yarn or hand-spun yarn. I will also donate something, either yarn from Stash or like a Ravelry gift card or hand-spun yarn. I've not entirely decided. It sort of depends on other things, how the time I feel like I have between now and Flock. So yeah, so we'll have some prizes from each of us and from Tori. And I told Tori this week that we were going to do a knit along based on her patterns. And so again, that is the theme this year. I asked for some suggestions. I had, you know, like, should we have done a teal knit along? That would have been fun. But I don't ever want to exclude people because that's not your color palette. So, and I think sometimes when it's too broad of a knit along, like a summer tease, like, not that that's not something you could do, but I love a theme. And so the theme this year is Tori patterns. I will say you can use any of Tori's patterns. So if you are in a place and not going to join us for Flock and you want to have a, you know, like if you're in the Southern Hemisphere and you'd rather make something that's for the winter time, please use one of her winter patterns. But I will say for most of us, it's going to be summer patterns. So we have a hashtag, which I came up with last night. I feel proud of this one because I was trying to get a lot of things into this hashtag. I'd love to put Tori's name in here somewhere in some way, for me, Emily, and Ariel to be represented in some way, and obviously Flock or just summer or something. So here's our hashtag. I'm going to flash it up at the bottom here. It is PKW Flock U KAL. All of our things are represented in here. If you do not know, my knitting friends here in Seattle, there are 9 of us, and we have a name, which is Pacific Knit West. So PKW is the beginning, since Ariel, Emily, and I are all in that group. It was an easier way than trying to mash our podcast names together or whatever. I will put here too, if you do not know, this is Ari Knits podcast and Emily Curtis's podcast, which she like writes patterns under Gently Chaotic Knits. But her podcast is just under Emily Curtis. She does have like Gently Chaotic Knits usually in the name. So anyway, I will hopefully figure out how to like link the two of them, like clickable here. But otherwise I'll also put them below. So if you don't know who they are, they're friends of mine. They're wonderful humans. They're very fun. They will also both be in the Discord channel. So come join. They will be posting this on their podcast as well. So if you watch their podcast, you will hear about this. And please join us if you want to knit a Tori pattern. Anytime between, you know, nowish, but we are going to start early May, the Instagram post, and then I'll probably like put just like the post up in YouTube too, in case you're not a YouTube, or in case you're not an Instagram user. I will also post it in my regular Discord channel so people know like what the channel to join for that. But it will start early May, and I don't think we picked like an exact date yet, but like probably somewhere around the first week of May 3rd or something like that. So that will be the join, and then we'll have all of May, all of June, and all of July to knit, because Flock happens the first week of August. We won't like end the KAL until the weekend of Flock. So you can put in your form and whatever for prizes at the end. I think we'll probably do, we haven't discussed all of these details, but we'll probably just do a Google form again. So if you finish something, you do have to submit a picture. It does not have to be you wearing it. It just has to be the item. We will ask for like Discord participation as part of it, just so that like the community is the reason we do knit-alongs, right? And you do not have to be chatty in the Discord by any means. I know that's not everybody's game, but it would be really nice if you at least posted your finished object or the yarn you were choosing. You don't have to put a lot of context. You don't have to answer other people's questions. But I get it. I get why people are not online chatty, but that, you know, again, this is part of the fun, is we want people to join in and be there for each other. So I we'll get details on how to participate and stuff in the Instagram post and all that. But yeah, early May to August. I've talked a lot about this, but like now let's get into a little bit of fun stuff. And I'm going to highlight for you some of my favorite Tori patterns. Okay, for this KAL, I think garments only will count, so none of Tori's accessories, but everything else. Let's highlight some of my favorite Tori patterns for this. I'm going to highlight some that are, most of them are going to be summer, but I'll also tell you a couple of the other ones that I really enjoy. So I just made the Avenue Tee, which I'll post up here. I'm going to just maybe pop pictures up of me in them if I've made it, and if not, it'll be a Tori picture. So the Avenue Tee, which I just finished the other week. I love this pattern. There is a crew neck version and a V-neck version. This is a fingering weight pattern. I think 3 months is a pretty good amount of time. I mean, obviously for everybody knits at a different pace. You do not have to do a fingering weight pattern. So I'll highlight a couple that are not, but a lot of her summer patterns are fingering weight. This one I really love. I think it's a contiguous construction knit. It's really flattering, the way that the shoulders meet and everything. It just, I love it. I will also pop up here the Avenue vest. If you do not want sleeves, or you want something that's like more, you could use over more seasons, you could totally wear this. You could wear this over a t-shirt even. It doesn't have to be like a long sleeve or anything. But here's me in the Avenue vest. It is a worsted weight garment, so this would go a lot faster, but I will warn you, if you want to knit this to hang out with us at Flock, it will be warm in August here. Hopefully we have cold days in August. That does happen on occasion, pretty rarely. So I will say I would not necessarily wear this to Flock, but it is a thing. Another one here is the Brooklyn Raglan Light. This is my long sleeve version, but you can do a t-shirt version. So maybe I'll pop that one up also. The t-shirt version is very cute. I have yarn for a t-shirt version. I don't know if that'll be one of the things I cast on. Unclear yet. I've not made plans. And there's also a regular Brooklyn Raglan, which is a DK weight version. I also have yarn for that one. Okay, here is the Skyline tee. This I made as a test knit last year in the spring. My most worn t-shirt over the summer last year. I love this t-shirt. I feel like you can throw it on with anything. It's super cute. It's comfortable. It's a saddle shoulder construction. So though that's a little bit fiddly to start with, it just does produce a really nice line to wear. I love it. If you're craving a tank top, she doesn't have too many tank tops, but here are two. The City, which came out last year, and I think has in the pattern instructions all the way to a dress. It's super cute. I have a bunch of friends that tested it last year. If you are looking for a less fitted version, the Queen's Cami, which this may be the one that I knit, or one of the ones that I knit this year. And I have some hot pink yarn to do this, yeah, I think it's my beat. So it's not hot pink, but I have a pink yarn to knit this year. This is like kind of a peplumy look, or like a flowy bottom look, but it is just a change of needle size. And so that is a really cute one. And then the other one that's in my queue, and maybe more likely to be the one that I pick right now, is the Uptown tee. I did just make the Uptown pullover. That's another great option, especially if you're like in the Southern Hemisphere and you want to make a sweater, or if you just don't love t-shirts and you want to make something that you could still wear in the summer. I think the Uptown pullover is a great option. Or you can make the Uptown tee long sleeve. You can make any of these long sleeve. They don't all, like the Skyline does not come with long sleeve instructions, I don't think. Tori has just made, or is finishing, a single strand of Surrey Avenue Tee version long sleeve, and it is so cute. She posted on her pictures the other day. This is a great idea for me. I have yarn to make another ashling with a single strand of Surrey, but I would also maybe swap in to do a V-neck. It's so cute. I can't wait. As an option. So up down tee, up down pullover. The Skyline pullover is an option. That's a DK weight. She's got the Metropolitan. Here's me in the Metropolitan and my Skyline. These are two things that I've also made that are like DK weight sweaters. Totally options. Yeah. So those are things. And she also has like, here's 3 more. There's so many great Tori patterns. But 3 I've seen that I really like the options for. So she has the Courage Henley and then the Highline Henley, and these have they're similar-ish looking, but they have different like front and shoulder shaping options. But they're both long sleeve, I think DK weight. You could obviously make those t-shirts also if you wanted to. And then she's got the Downtown hoodie. Downtown hoodie is actually not on my hoodie list right now, but is one that I really like, and probably one I'll use as like what the next time I test for her, maybe my like free pattern. I have made a lot of Tori things, as you know. I have more Tori things to make. And she's definitely one of the designers for me that I often feel like I want to repeat. If I make it in variegated, I want it in a tonal. If I make it in a tonal, I want it in a variegated, or I just want another color, because I think they're very wearable patterns. They are generally not very fussy to knit. They have good finishing details, and I think her patterns are very clear and easy to read. I'm a proponent. Obviously, I would not do it otherwise. I wouldn't keep testing for her, and I wouldn't share them in this KAL being like, yes, let's make them. I think Emily has not made a Tori U pattern before, but wants to. Ariel also tests for her often. So Ariel and I, between the two of us, have made many of her patterns, and a lot of things that we share together, like that we've both made. So really excited. I don't know that Emily, Ariel, and I will film it all together, but we might. Maybe at the end of the KAL we'll do a little joint episode. But yes, otherwise, like really just, this is here. We will be hosting on Discord so we can chat. You can chat with us. And yes, link below. For sure. I won't have the Discord channel up yet for this until closer to May, so like another week or so, but I will get it up before the KAL starts, so you can start posting like what you're gonna make and get some color analysis help or whatever you need. I will also determine what I'm actually going to make in the next week or so. So that's my fun thing to share for this week. I hope that you had fun hanging out with me. Please share for me. Do you want to join the KAL? What will you be planning to make? And what are you making now otherwise? As always, I love to hear your plans. I love, like, if you just tell me what you're doing while you're hanging out with me. I'm always a proponent of doing some knit chores while you're watching a podcast. So don't forget, that's a really great way to use your hangout time. And as always, you can find me on Discord, the link below, on Instagram, and here on YouTube. I will always answer the comments in all of those places if you have questions or other things. I'm game for conversation with all of my internet yarny friends. You guys are the best. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a really good night, week, weekend, whenever you're watching this, and I will talk to you next time.